Welcome back to Final Drive, and welcome to what I'm going to call the technical edit, because it's all about the last minute preparation I had to do when I realised that you can't just buy a car that was going to the scrapyard and take it off-road. It was the day before I went off-roading and I was like, oh, I should probably do a bit more work to that because it's still kind of heading to the scrapyard at the minute. So grab yourself a beer or a glass of water or whatever you want and come along. We have what is known as the three amigos. I've only got the ignition on, not the engine running, because it's 7 o'clock in the morning and my new neighbours moved in yesterday and I don't want to wind them up just yet. The hill descent control light at the bottom, the traction control light and the ABS light, and that basically means that the traction control system is completely void at the moment. It is not working. Just to elaborate on that a little bit further, if the truck's traction control system isn't working, it is effectively useless. Without the ability to lock the centre differential, it will send its power to the path of least resistance, which will be the wheel that's spinning. So without the ability to put the brake on and send that power elsewhere around the drivetrain, it will just spin one wheel forever. Right, so I've checked all the sensors. They all seem to be wired in properly, which is annoying. I was hoping one of them's going to be unplugged or something like that, and they're not. So the only option I have now is to move on to the steering box, because if you remember I had loads of play in the steering, it was utterly useless, and hope that one of the messages I've sent out about 30 messages to try and find some diagnostics equipment today. Hopefully someone can come back to me, we can get it plugged in and we can find out what's wrong with it. But for now it's steering box, and I'm well aware that the steering box is underneath all of this, so I've got to drag all of that out.
Early sun and the biggest sky.
Now, for some reason, Landrover had designed it in such a way that oil tracks back from the injector harness down into the ECU, which is fantastic. So if your Discovery is misfiring, check out the ECU plug, because as you can see, mine's full of oil. Oil in the plug check? Of course there is, loads of it.
Catch a wave as it crashes over you. And
here we go, old car life. All I'm trying to do is remove this battery tray, but there's a stupid bolt, one in either of those sockets at the bottom, and it's seized in. The other one snapped clean off. Where did I put it? There. This one snapped clean off when I was taking it out, so that was helpful. The other one's just got no head left on it. I think the battery may have possibly leaked at some point and it's corroded the head, but the bottom of the bolt does poke out under there. I've just noticed that one. Brilliant. Anyway, yeah, so I've got to try and undo it somehow from under here. Where's that other one come from? I don't think it's to do with me. There's got to be something underneath it. Anyway. Hello, it's a little head version of me again. And I'm here to apologise basically because that guy up there is really struggling with getting that bolt out. So he kind of decided that one bolt wasn't going to ruin his day. So if you want an ASMR of a load of plastic being broken, now's your chance, because he got fed up and yanked it. It's too late, buddy. They've all seen you rip it out. You can come over to the camera and try and press record and then realise it was still recording if you like. But now we've all seen it. Well, managed to get the bolt through. Not out, through. What a stupid design. What would you expect from Landrover, really? But we'll hide these. What I need is that there. That little Torx bit and nut. Somehow I've got to get to it. So although I did manage to get to the steering box and I did manage to adjust it, After all that, it made no difference whatsoever because the fault was actually the bottom UJ on the steering rack. So you're not going to hear about the steering box again in this video because it really upset me. Reinforcements have now woken up. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me. Reinforcements have woken up. And they have diagnostics, so they're going to come around and do that for me as well. So that's really helpful. And whilst I'm waiting for that, that looks very leaky. At least the gearbox doesn't, but the transfer box really does. I wonder if there's any oil left in it. We'll find out if it blows up tomorrow. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. It's very leaky. Luckily, the prop shaft bolt that's missing is right there, so I can try and do that because I bought some of them the other day. Oh, and I've got a slight confession about the front bumper as well, but we'll get to that. The trouble is, I don't think the threads are very healthy, so I've had to replace the nut. Hello.
Hiya.
All right.
Oh, you're under there.
Yeah. A bit of a problem.
What's the problem?
Well, one of the prop shaft bolts, the threads were knackered.
Oh, okay.
So I've got new nuts for it, but it doesn't help the fact that the threads are knackered.
What, on the bolt?
Yeah.
Have you not got a new bolt?
They don't come out. Hold on. Did you leave a bolt missing out of the prop shaft? Nah, I wouldn't have thought so. Well, have you replaced it now? Yeah, of course I have. These bodgers. The confession I have to make about the front bumper is that I sort of cheated a little bit to get it on the truck so that I could make it somewhat road legal, and the bumper was fitted for the video as well. And I used a bit of thread bar, and I chopped 4 lengths of it down, or I chopped 1 length of it down into 4 pieces and used nuts and bolts to hold the bumper on. It's probably absolutely fine. I mean, it's stronger than like a Hyundai or something like that, but obviously not high tensile. And if I get this stuck off road and there's something winching off of these, I'm not sure how long that would last. So it did its job, but I'm replacing it with high tensile ones. I shall show you that now. Here they are. 8.8 hardness high tensile bolts with nylock washers, so the internet can't go mad at me. Desktop mechanics, if you watch Landrover Time, which I suggest you do actually. The German guys, the man and his wife. But yeah, so there you go. Because if you're this far into this video, you probably care about stuff like that, like I do. Right, so we plugged it in, and unusually it came up with no faults. Possibly because I've had the battery out for a while and it's cleared the ECU. I don't know. One of the 3 Amigos has gone out, so all I can do is take it for a drive to see if it goes out when you drive it. Sometimes when you go above like 5 or 10 mile an hour, it clears the faults, so we'll go for that. Fingers crossed it works. If not, I don't really know, because it wasn't showing any faults, so that can only work. So interestingly, I don't have any warning lights on, so that's always good. I'm sorry you're a bit wonky. It's very hard to mount my phone over there. I will in a minute test the traction control system by using the hill descent control. So I can, as the postman, got to be nice to the postman, otherwise he squashes your post through the letterbox. Yeah, I'll test that in a minute. I think I should be able to put it in low ratio and put it into hill descent control and then go like above 5 mile an hour lift off. It should try and stop me with the ABS system. Just going into a little industrial estate. Not the one where I almost got done for fly tipping. Thought I'd let that heat die down on that one for a while. Okay. Nice straight bit of road and zebra crossing, so if there is anyone crossing, we're going to probably knock them over. Let's chuck that into neutral, that into low range, drive. Well, that works, so let's put hill descent. Hill descent's not engaged. Oh, it has. Oh. Blimey. Just thinking about it. myself in trouble. I'm heading straight for like a lifeguard place, and like there's all sorts of alarms and stuff going off. Get myself banned from this industrial estate as well. Alright. This is really good news that the traction control seems to be working. Well, the hill descent works, let's go a bit faster. 20 mile an hour, let go. Cool. Yeah, that's working. You're right, sir. He's right. Let's see what it does. Well, it seems to be working. Yeah, I'd say that works. Alright, sweet. Put that back into neutral. Back into drive, go. Yeah, I know you're gonna... Yeah, cool. That works. Nice. Can't test traction control because there's nowhere really around here that I can actually take it to see if it's going to work or not. But that's a massive bonus because that was going to hinder me from doing anything tomorrow. Here's the situation report and what I've done so far to get it ready for tomorrow. It's not a huge amount really. I've got an old ammunitions box, so I fitted that in, but obviously on a proper off-road day everything needs to be secured down. So let me make this a bit wider. So you've got the straps, it's all strapped up. Got 20 litres of water. It is fresh drinking water, but to be honest with you, it's for the truck because I checked it earlier and it was a little bit low. But you know, teething issues. In here, I haven't really got anything too special. This is a little air compressor, so we've got onboard air. Obviously a normal jack, strop, socket set, jump leads, torque wrench, bit of WD-40. Couple of bits and pieces like that. There's not a huge amount because obviously I haven't been for a long time, so I've lost a load of my stuff. The split charge system in there is now working. We now have voltage. We don't have a lot of voltage because I've only just got it working, but that was just the voltage sensing relay had come undone. So that's happy days. I've done diff oils. Oh, there you go, there's evidence. So the diff oils are done. Obviously, you see me put the filter in. Wait, no you haven't, but you can. Don't worry everyone. Got a brand new filter going in. She'll be alright. Done the engine oil as well. This is all back together now, that's back on. Put a couple of shackles in the front in preparation. They're probably going to wind me up because they're going to rattle all the time, but I can take them off if I need to. They're just there just in case I forget. Pump the tyres up, and that's about it really. The next job, oh there you go, see me lights on. Should turn that back off really. My next job is just to tidy it up a little bit. It's not really anywhere for a passenger to go. There's a behind the scenes of how I film myself when I'm driving. Yeah, see, I should put that in the back as well. Got a couple of fans because the heater controls aren't working. I had a little play with them earlier to find out why, and I don't know is the honest answer. None of the fuses are blown, but I'm not sure at the moment why that's not working. So I've got these to keep me and my passenger cool. So that's about all I had time for on the day before we took it off-road. It didn't cost me a lot of money, it just took me a lot of time. As you can see, we did manage to go off-roading and it did last the day. Yes, it broke down on the way home, but that wasn't really its fault. I think I may have put the hose back in the wrong place slightly for the EGR cooler and it rubbed on the top of the steering box. The steering box that we're not going to talk about because I'm still sour about it and I haven't actually repaired it still yet. So I will get round to it. But if you haven't seen what happened when we took it off-road, click this video here and I'll see you on the next one.